What we got?
There's a couple things on DocuSign. The first one is a change order for 45th East. It's the change order number one. The total price of the increase is $13,852. And we go through the particulars if you want to go through them. I'd like to. Okay, so the first portion of it is an increase of 8,600. And it's to add a couple of streetlights that were damaged on the first street roundabout. Before this was bid, and so we've had a couple over the winter that got hit. So we have to replace those as part of this project. That's $8,600.
I noticed those were hit the other day when I was going.
Yeah.
Another demolition derby
Well,
is, okay, the question I got it, is there an accident report?
on the one of them, we got an accident report. On the other one, there was no accident
Good.
report. Yeah,
Because you can file on their insurance.
yeah. And we've tried, but we have had not very much luck this winter on filing for things like this.
Why?
They say, well, part of the weather conditions or something like that, but I don't know. We had one lady that was in a vehicle that she claimed was hers, but wasn't, didn't have any insurance on it. And it's hard to get money out of somebody who was driving a vehicle that wasn't hers and it didn't have any insurance on it, so.
Welcome to the new world. Everybody drives without insurance.
Just trying to figure out whether, how often does it happen that you can go after an insurance?
Maybe 50% of the time.
How much? I know 50% of what time, that's the how often question.
So we probably had 8 or 9 accidents that we've tried to go after this year. And about 50% of that, we've actually got it to the insurance company and they're working on it supposedly.
Okay. And those, if they refuse it, you know, maybe be worth handing over to Scott West.
Okay. I'm gonna try. The other portion of this is actually a deduct. It's for a reduction of 24 lineal foot of pipe removal. So it's a deduct of 2,352. That was based on RFI number 1, a quantity change, and then RFI number 6. There's a quantity change of adding 20 foot of lineal pipe, a different size, a bigger size, and removing a smaller size pipe, and that was a net increase of 2,716. RFI number 7 was also addressing a quantity change for pipe removal near the Lincoln Road roundabout. There was 94 feet of pipe that needed to be removed that was not shown on the plans, and that is an increase of $4,888. So the total increase was $13,852.
Are they coming on the piping? Because with the water probably not coming in as early.
So they've got almost all of the irrigation done except for in front of Alvin Hatches.
And where are we on that?
Weston has filed it. He was trying to get a hearing set up, but I don't know. I haven't heard from Weston when that hearing is due. He was hoping to get it for next Monday.
How fast can they get the pipe in?
They
That's
could get the pipe in probably about 3 days,
so.
but
When's the water coming in, have you heard?
Progressive is saying not before the 17th of April.
And that may get moved back.
Don't know. It might, but we haven't heard anything
They
different.
probably got some trees they gotta cut there too, I'd imagine, to get
They've
that
got-
through.
About 13 trees total that they
Yeah,
have to
'cause
cut out.
he's got a lot of trees on the front of that.
Yeah.
property.
But those trees, the guy they have doing the trees can come in. He's got an excavator with a saw on it And he just reaches up and cuts it, and takes it off, so it's a pretty quick
Pretty quick to
process.
get those
if
out.
you get there.
But you're probably not gonna get to that part of the project as late as they're gonna get in there this year, are you?
We don't know. It's certainly questionable.
So what is there, about a quarter of a mile or a half mile from his place to the end of the project?
Well, they've already gone past his place and done it.
And
It's
you
just
do the
right
road.
in his place. It would be an open ditch.
What are you
still.
talking about? That's the most important section. Just
Be careful, he's gonna put a road close sign. or something, so you can't get in there.
We're gonna put an open sign in the morning and a closed sign in the afternoon.
And the detour sign going right down his street.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's what the change orders is. And it is on DocuSign, but I also have a hard copy here. If you want.
Sign, right,
Yeah, it's just your signature.
Oh, is it?
on the change order.
Yeah.
And the other one looks like it's that memorandum with,
It is the memorandum of understanding with the city of Ammon. They made the changes, they sent it over to Scott Hall. Scott Hall has gone through it, he's okay with it.
Okay.
Hopefully on both sides of the table there.
yeah,
They did change it and put a place for all three commissioners' signatures on it now.
yeah, I just signed it.
Speaking of MOUs, Ferguson's already got one back to us on the data sharing. So I'll probably distribute that and have everybody look. I haven't read it yet. But he says he's incorporated all the concerns Mike has concern on language he wanted for security. Which I think everybody was looking for, even on their end.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at it.
Okay. So you'll have to sign the MOU too with the city of Ammon, but
And all three of us.
yeah, all three of you. The next thing we wanna have David Romero talk about a piece of ground that is in Bonneville County's name, has been since 1930. And it's kind of a mess. We talked a little bit about it before, but
First page is the email Lance got where they were wanting the county to relinquish the water right. Parcel.
That was that Shelley Land.
yeah,
Okay.
Second page is the county owned parcel. It's an old right away. And it's not quite drawn on the map correctly. It should be pretty well centered. So half of it would be on the three parcels to the north. And then half of it would be on the surveying the Cooper Family Trust parcel, the field.
So the whole right of way is in Cooper Family Trust.
No, just a portion of it.
so what's shown there in blue shows a little over half of what the parcel legal description would have. The portion that doesn't show on here is actually would be north of that blue line in these parcels that are shown there.
In these,
Yes,
And this is a right of way.
it was, so.
Oh, it's the old highway.
It's part of the old highway.
An 80-foot strip was deeded to, back in 1930. Oh. So it's in the name of Bonneville County, right? This.
so it's deeded.
There's a quick claim deed. That is page number 3, that quick claim deed number 7.
But then the question becomes, do we have to auction that? Which there are certain property to go bid that up for spite, especially if it has right away, or water rights. We should run this by,
Yeah.
make sure. Preference would be to just vacate it, that's where it's not a right of way, we can't vacate it, it's deeded property.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get to that property too,
I know.
if we can, so yeah, we need Scott to tell us how to.
We can send it over to Scott.
We did verify with the title company that it has not been relinquished since 1930, so. Yeah,
If it was an easement, it'd be. Things can be vacated to both sides.
This one,
how would we do that? It would
This
go
one is a
then to the
mess.
individual, or go to the owner of this ground. Who owns the farm ground?
That's half of it, the other half would go to.
Cooper Family Trust. So yeah, that part go here and the rest go to each of these.
Sounds like it,
Uh,
but that's if you vacate it. Where it's deeded. But it's a deeded easement, right? For the purpose.
Rights.
No, it's the property. It doesn't, the quit claim doesn't say anything about easement, so.
Cleverly was the one that deeded it to the county.
Francis Clevenger, yeah.
I wonder what the deed before showed and why she. I mean, how she got it. Was it an easement prior to that?
It was probably part of right away before that, because it was on the third or fourth sheet there, it looks like it was present road before they did the highway. It looked like it was part of the old highway.
Yeah, that's what it's.
I guess we might make a difference on that.
It was the old road connecting Idle Falls.
Yeah, let's-
We got some Scott. Yeah. We don't want to just relinquish the water. We want to get rid of property and everything. We want-
Yeah, and not to create a problem for the landowners, but
Yeah,
getting somebody coming in trying to buy a spite strip is all over.
Yeah. Then Larry's here to talk about that animal.
Concern about dead end,
Dead animals or heights.
well,
Oh.
all the above. So. The originally when Intermountain Packing started to produce dead animals over there, they were taking their hides somewhere else. We're not sure why, other than I think that it might have been that they could dispose of them for free at the landfill, and they were probably paying to get rid of them prior to that. But they've changed direction and started to go to the landfill, so we implemented our fee, and as of Brian's concern, our $200 a load. When we implemented our $200 a load, they got a bigger trip. Yeah. In spite of the county, because they were using a dump trailer and dump trailer was fine, so it was in ignorance to, obviously. They're gonna take advantage of the per load. Our concern is, and we need some guidance on this, and that's why we're here today. Our concern is, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So in conversation that we had with the guy that was here talking about getting the Melaleuca facility going. In them conversations, it was stated that it had to have no negative impact on the county, so no disposal of animals, render, they had to have their own rendering, all that. Our concern is, are those just words? is there some teeth to that? Do we need to put some kind of a,
Is Riverbend a problem?
not yet, but our concern is this guy was taking care of himself. You know, and then he's seen an avenue to save money and started to divert to the landfill. Our concern is, do we need to have some kind of an ordinance, policy, something in place that we can,
What's,
I don't really see it happening with Riverbend. I mean, I guess it always could.
well, I didn't
But
see it
they've got-
happening with this young man.
Yeah,
either,
I
but
mean, they've
now
got
it is.
A whole nother facility that they take all their waste and make fertilizer out of it that's owned by them.
These guys, well,
So they have a reason to
is
take
there
it somewhere
anything
else.
in the development agreement or whatever?
Yeah.
they put
No,
together?
there isn't a development agreement because it's an ag building.
Yeah.
So they just got a permit and built the building.
So I
So
guess
it probably have to be a landfill or a solid waste policy of some sort.
that's what,
And that's what I think we need.
Yeah,
To
saying.
answer
that-
your question, yeah, I think we need some teeth in it. I mean, we need a policy.
But you were concerned about the, well, they got a bigger truck,
Yeah,
and you have a fee for the bigger truck. Expensive fee for it.
we can't, I mean, we would have to go back through that process again now.
Well,
Uh,
it'd just be one fee, one change,
Yeah.
just to go to the next size truck and establish a fee on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
But our concern is, so not necessarily if that facility out there, but if somebody else moved in and built another facility similar to that. Or if what they have going on out there goes array and they need some type of disposal arrangement, they could actually, I mean, we have nothing in place that states quantity, size. You know, the landfill was developed to take trash and onesie, twosies of dead horses, cows, etc.
Where would they take it if we wouldn't take it though?
Well, on a business, I mean, that kind of falls back on our business
Yeah,
structure, you know, they need to figure that out.
well, it's not only the meat packing plant though, too, is you had a dairy farmer, wasn't it a dairy farmer?
Well, it's a
Or
Feedlot.
feedlot.
Yeah.
They called up and said they had 10 dump truck fulls of dead cows. Really?
Throughout
And
the
it's like,
winter.
how
And they want,
do you-
you know, they froze
It-
down and they haven't been disposing of them because of the weather and whatever. And now that it's starting to warm up, they want to dispose of those. So we talked to Southern Idaho Solid Waste yesterday. They're Burley, Twin Falls, Shoshone, Gooding. So they're in the heart of the dairy country. And I asked them what they did and they just, you know, at first they fought it like I am. Mentally, you know, I can't wrap my mind around all these cows in the landfill. That's not what it was designed for. But eventually they, you know, those dairies didn't go away. They got more and more and more. And so they developed a process that they process them into the, you know, mix them into the garbage and they feel like they have a good program. And so they just wrap their head around taking them because there's no other way.
I thought
No.
our operation plan required us to have a separate place to dispose of.
We actually have we're out of real estate up there to dispose of animals, so we're processing them back into the waste, which is
That's
a better
allowed.
way to actually. We were digging a big trench and putting them in, and that didn't work, it's filled up with water all the time. So then we went to a smaller trench and deeper, and then it would cave in. But we put those trenches, we're out of real estate. We don't have anywhere to put them now.
What's that called, the autofill?
Yeah, monofield, yeah. So, yeah, but our concern is
Do we charge?
the amount.
Do we charge?
We are going, I mean, we're going to figure out a way to,
But we don't charge for dead animals.
not one, you know, if you had a horse and it passed away and you brought it to the landfill, no. But these mass quantities, we feel like, now they do charge, they charge $18 a ton. And they process them. We have a fee,
We have $40 a ton.
$40 a ton for the $200 a load, which if they use a bobtail truck, that $200 is probably pretty close to what they're gonna charge. And that way we don't have to bring them across the scale.
But if they bring a full semi load.
Yes.
Well, we just need to adjust for one thing, that fee, so that if it's a 10-wheeler truck, it's this much, you know,
Yeah.
if it's a semi, it would be.
Now, see, it worked, for the way we had it originally designed and thought through was the meat packers used those little double axle
Yeah.
for dump trailer, and the guy was using a dump trailer for his hides. But when we told him we were gonna charge him, then he, and Spike turned around and got a bigger truck, because he obviously gonna take advantage of the per load, so.
How big a truck compared to the volume of the double axle trailer?
Yeah, he can haul probably 5 times, 6 times what he would have, what he originally was bringing us. He was bringing us like 300 hides. The other day when he came, he
On the
had
trailer?
3 piles,
On the trailer or on the semi?
no, on the trip, 300 hides, but just the hides, no guts, no, just the hides.
So he could do 5 times that. in the
Yeah,
semi?
so the other day when he brought his 10-wheeler, it had 4 piles. When he dumped them out, it was 4 piles of those, so. I mean, he could,
Hides.
yeah,
I mean, a semi, you could get, what, 30-ton on, 40-ton?
oh, if you loaded them
Yeah,
up,
if you loaded
yeah.
it right up, that'd be $800.
Yeah.
Is what we should be charging for that. A 10-wheeler would be, what, 15-ton, so
Let's,
If they loaded them up,
$600.
yeah,
I know you don't want to run them across the scale. Can you do it based on cubic yards?
yeah, I mean, we
Capacity.
could figure something out, like you said, 10-wheeler.
Yeah.
I think you just put it, to make it easy on them, you just do it by the wheel. And
Well,
By
that's
the
where
axle or by the wheel?
Yeah, by the axle.
I would do it, yeah, by the axle's fine.
Yeah, but wouldn't that go into the, you know, a 10-wheeler truck carry how many yards?
Well, and we would base that off of what they could
Yeah.
You could
carry
get
weight
about
wise.
15 ton. And
If
you load it right
Just
up.
estimated. And it's kind of the same thing, the size of the truck.
Yeah.
How many wheels,
And then let them fill them, you know,
Yeah, let them figure
let
out.
them be the responsible one to fill it up before they bring it, so they get their money's worth.
And then the other thing, Lance came up with this idea when we were sitting talking yesterday about it. Is we need to. Part of our policy or program of the landfill is to control the amount we get, so. If they call and say, hey, I have 10 loads. Say, okay, well, work with us and bring one every other day or every 3rd day, because you know that the neighbor guy is gonna do the same thing. And you could fill those other days with the neighbor, and so we're not having this mass amount, so we have differential settlement and stuff like
you're not
that.
gonna get that kind of cooperation from that business.
What's that?
You're not gonna get that kind of cooperation from the business. it
Not,
sounds like.
no, not this guy, but I think I think the livestock guys would work with you. I don't think that Johnson Brothers would just say, well, no, we're bringing our cows, you know. I think if you said, hey, work with us a little bit here and come every other day or
Okay,
whatever.
so you got 2 separate things, take the cows. You don't charge anybody for the onesies or twosies.
Right, yeah.
At what level do you charge them?
Well, there again, that, you know, we talked about that because, you know, it was developed around a dead horse or a dead animal. So I said to Lance, well, we need to figure out how to control these major producers. And Lance says, define major producer. Right. So I guess that's something we need to decide. Well, you know, where do we draw a line in the sand and say, okay, anything above this is a major producer, or,
Well, that's the question.
yeah,
What's the line?
And that's a hard number to define.
yeah.
I mean, if somebody has more than a couple animals in a year, I don't know that they're a major producer, but,
How do you keep track of who's?
and that's,
Yeah,
That's
That's
why
another
I
problem.
would think just charge them so much per animal. And
And
it
a lot
doesn't
of
matter if you have 1 or if you have
yeah.
50.
A lot of these landfills do charge to take a single animal, a calf, a pile of guts, so that, you know, whatever they do. our problem with us is that's going to have to come across the scale, or we're gonna have to figure out how to
Do it by,
charge
do
them,
it by the animal.
charge them at Peterson
That's
Hill.
the thing, you don't have a way, he doesn't have It doesn't have a an check in inspector. place, an inspector up Yeah. there. There's
Yeah.
nobody, if they bring up 300 hides, I don't want somebody counting out 300 hides to
Yeah.
see.
That's why it has to be part of the
That's
act.
why I say there's two things. There's the hides and the waste, and there's the dead animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause you accept having somebody to check them in, but don't they have to?
Yeah, they're
Some-
supposed to call.
Yeah,
They're supposed to
They're
call
supposed
the
to call.
transfer station before they go. So we do have some control, but in order to get that person to come and pay, we call the hill and we'll tell them, hey, this guy called, got a dead horse, he'll be up in 30 minutes kind of thing. But
I know they've got these. You have cell service up on top there, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've got these little things that you can put on your cell phone, swipe a credit card or. Cash is another way, which a little concerned, but you have a petty cash with policy.
Yeah, I wonder if you could do that somehow, that they just pay online before, and then they bring up their
bring a receipt.
receipt. Yeah, you'd still have to have someone there.
We do have a
verifying it.
way to pay online. You can pay your bill online, you can pay. But we do have a process that they can do to pay their bill online, so we could probably set that up that they can
If they
pay.
call you first,
You can actually go in and pay your bill online.
but that's if somebody actually bothers to do it before they drive up on the hill.
Right. But I mean, that's Brian's point. I think you're
If
just,
somebody's got a cell phone up there, just say, hey, you need to go in. To the county website, to the pay site. Put your credit card in and. Show us the verification and then you can dump.
Or Venmo.
So is
Many
it
of you
just the
use
big
that.
loads that are going up
My
there?
wife does.
no, everything.
Or is everything's going there?
It's getting to be very common, but the older generation, no offense. You wouldn't find as many using it.
I'm not a big fan of the Venmo.
I use it, I'm the oldest generation.
It's getting to be more common.
That's because I have young kids.
I don't think it's unreasonable to expect them to do it electronically,
No.
even if they have to do it right there,
Or you don't dump.
Or
because everybody
cash,
has a phone.
bring cash, whatever. I mean, the one thing that we can do is change our operation up there to make sure that everybody comes. Instead of the onesies, twosies, we used to just dump them down in the dead animal pit area. Then we scoop those up and pack them up there and put them in, and that keeps the public out of our process up there. But if we were to do that, we could actually change our operation and make them come to the tipping face. There's always an operator on the tipping face. There's two operators all the time. So that way, that would keep us from having to have another person to check them in and check them out kind of stuff. So, I mean, we could make adjustments that way. But I think that's one of our concerns. But I think the bigger concern is what do we put in place to stop the guy from Intermountain Packing or not to pick on Frank, but that's a big operation. And if something went awry in their production or the direction that they were going, and they would turn around and come to the landfill, that could be devastating to our operation.
I like the idea on the size of the truck and whether it's axles, but you can estimate. One axle truck will hold
Yeah,
X number of yards or tons or
Cows.
whatever. Whether they fill it or not, you do that with a household unit. You're charged a household unit, whether you fill the dumpster or not.
right.
You know?
In hindsight, and obviously Intermountain Packing's in the city of Idaho Falls, but even on the Melaleuca one, we probably should have made them come up with an approved disposal plan before
Well-
they got their permit.
Yeah.
Cause you
Well,
know,
what
that's,
about-
you're right. Mel Lucas said, hey, we're gonna dump everything into these trucks and haul them off to our other plants to do fertilizer. It's supposed to be a zero waste facility, but if something didn't work out in there,
Yeah.
what's to stop them from bringing them up? Because we didn't really have an agreement with them on any of that.
Don't have an agreement, but they're selling that whole operation.
Yeah.
You know, based on the zero.
I
Right, I
really don't think you'll see it from them. I would be shocked if you did, because they've talked about wanting to build a rendering facility somewhere around
Yeah,
here
and
so
I
they can
totally understand that,
utilize
but
it, but
if the economy crashed or something
Yeah.
changed or, and, you know, and it's like Lance said, they have said that it's gonna take them a year or two to get into full production. So as they continue to ramp up their production, are they going to find these loopholes that aren't going to work for them and we're gonna end up, you know, so that's a huge concern, because if we were to have to take all that all of a sudden, right now, we're right on the top of our landfill, so we don't have the space to deal with that kind, you know, it could cause us some operational
When do you go
issues.
into the next cell? It's about another year or two.
Well, that's
Yeah,
another
we should be in there
question,
this summer sometime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the projection was for us to finish in June,
Of this year.
yes, and then be in cell 4.
So we're gonna be a little longer than we
Yes,
projected. Good.
But we also need to, we'll have to start putting waste into that cell before we actually finish up here too, because we've got to get a footprint in that cell in order to bring Jackson, because we can't put Jackson on the bottom, because during the summer, they do a lot of demolition stuff. And that material can't be on the bottom, that bottom 10-foot fluff layer. So we're going to have to get going and then be able to put them on top of it when we finish up there, so.
Same process, I think, as we had before, just come up with a proposed schedule.
Well, and even though we didn't take care of it at permitting, we can do the same thing now, can't we, by policy? We just passed a policy that we either won't take it or.
you're gonna run into the,
Grandfathered.
well, you're gonna run into the problem with IDAPA on their dead animal movement and disposal. And what they allow to be done there according to state, because that's 020417 rules governing dead animal movement and disposal. And it says you can either, obviously, you can contact a licensed rendering facility for pickup, take to an approved landfill and or burial.
I guess we just do it by fee then. We just
So
get the
you
fee
probably
by
do it
it.
by fee, and if
Yeah.
you were gonna change anything, if the landfill's approved to take dead animals, you're probably gonna have a hard time. Doing anything to fight that where the state allows it, as long as it's an approved landfill. for animal
I
waste.
think though that the landfill, each landfill is not governed the same, so you can set up your own set of operational
right.
rules.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
you,
guide, that's a guidance or.
so you would have to have something on the landfill side, basically, that says this is our policy.
Yeah,
As to what amount of dead animals we can accept and why that is. Versus just doing a policy, I mean, in the permitting phase, if we get any of these new, what I'll do is tell people that they have to give us a waste management plan. To show what they're gonna do with everything, and then that way we can get you involved if they say we're just gonna take it to the landfill. And sort all that out before they ever
Yeah.
get their permit, which is probably what we should have done, but. It's the first one we've really ever done, so I don't know that we
right.
thought through that a lot.
And I think a lot of this, if we can control it by a policy. You know, if we have a policy in place. I don't think it matters whether they. You know, right now they're taking care of their own problems. We get a policy in place. I mean, they're not grandfathered into anything if it's a
You
policy.
might spell out, you know, you can only handle so many a day,
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
you know, and then.
Cause if you've got some backing to it that shows in your overall waste management plan why that is. I don't
Right.
think you'll ever get argued about it, but it's just the. You know, the Lance's point of saying we can't take your big corporation because.
Right.
It's just kind of a slippery slope.
Well,
what defines that.
I'd come up with a fee about as, what you did last time. You know,
Yeah.
adjustment,
Yeah,
and then all you have to do is add the bigger trucks.
Well, we appreciate your time because, you know, it could, and I'm not saying it ever will, because obviously they thought that process there through. But this guy has definitely opened our eyes as to what could,
yeah,
and visiting with that solid waste group out of Burley. I mean, I was on the phone with him for 20, 25, 30 minutes yesterday, and we kind of went through that process, and that's just mind boggling. I mean, they started out with a 1, 2, 2 program, and then as the dairy started to move in, and then feedlots started to move in, it just continually increased. And they'll get anywhere from 4 to 12 to 15, 16 semis a day.
So you would have a fee per animal, and then a fee on the bigger trucks, right?
yeah.
We could do that, yeah.
About a year and a half ago, I was on a plane back from Denver and I was sitting next to the county attorney for Twin Falls. And he was talking to me all about that, cause they just did a whole new Wagyu beef plan in Twin Falls, and he's
Yeah.
like. 99% of what we deal with is all this meat packing, dairy. He's like, that's what I deal with as an attorney constantly.
Yeah.
So I believe it. He said it's a nightmare.
And it gets bigger. I mean, every time I go down there, there's another feedlot over here or.
Yeah.
And they get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So
All right, well.
Okay.
We figured we'd better come here.
We should have told Taylor that we did all the action items earlier. If you got anything else to do, or if you're just entertained by them.
she's entertained.
I'm hoping maybe we talk about something interesting.
I've asked her to make sure she got, you know, if there any detail needs to be in the minutes.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
you got it. Oh, the other thing we were gonna talk about is City Works.
I
Thank
gotta
you,
go.
Blair.
Thanks, Blair.
Yep,
See ya.
thank you. Yeah,
The 1 year we took it out of your budget, this year we took it out of his budget, knowing there's some place in the middle because there's a shared benefit. But the majority of your module is for road and bridge.
So the majority of the module is for road and bridge. But when we went to that to start with, it was gonna be taken out of the general fund, not necessarily out of his budget.
Right, yeah, because of your fund balance. But taking it out of his budget, it's gonna have to, you're gonna have to adjust the fees. Probably to cover it. The question is, it's on your flat checking fees. I mean, is there any room to raise those to pay a portion of that?
So as far as raising the fees to cover some of that, we would have to go through the process and see what that'd be, yeah.
You know, why don't you look?
So what are those, I guess, what are those fund now? Because in there you've got, you know, the roadway inspection fees, that basically just set up to fund. The inspector going out there,
Yeah.
looking at them, the time you spend looking at them. So I don't even know that we have to increase them significantly, but even if we could get some increase built into those that would just say. And basically what we've done with our permit fees is just said, hey, we're increasing these, you know, less than the 5% for the next few years to make up for what the software is costing us. To have all of this online, so it kind of closes that gap a little bit.
But then the question becomes on the 40,000. Is it a percentage of shared benefit for planning and zoning? You know, of that fee, so you either split it or you raise it, so it's funded by your fee.
And obviously, I mean, I'm willing to look at and say, okay, on every permit that we do. Which we've done for a long time, we collect the inspection fee for John going out and looking at. You know, swells, curb gutter, any of that. The road and bridge inspection that he does, so that's why I don't necessarily have a problem with us. Paying for some of that, but I just think if you guys could look and see if you could increase those fees and then somehow we could. take whatever portion of that is and put it towards the 40,000, it'll just help to even it out. But-
That we can certainly crunch the numbers, but
And we're gonna do, so we're gonna take, cause we're putting all our rezone and plat stuff in there now. So when we do our fees this budget cycle, we're gonna increase all that too, for the same reason, just to kind of try to keep evening that out. And if you look, I mean, I don't know how it is with roadway inspection fees and stuff, but if you look at our building permit fees and planning fees versus everybody else in the area, even with our increases, we're still way lower significantly than anybody else, so.
Going into this budget season, let's take a look at that, so we. Kind of get a long-term plan for that.
so is the long-term plan then to keep paying for city works out of planning and zoning?
The long-term plan is to split it on these fees and have it.
But when the invoice comes, is it gonna be? I mean, we're gonna get the money from fees through road and bridge and stuff. But is the invoice gonna be paid from one place or paid from two different places?
You can probably code it to be paid through the, you know, when you submit the claim.
Yeah, we just need to figure out what the share is.
Yeah,
And then figure out how to balance that in between the two budgets,
Is-
but I'm
is
fine
what's
if we're paying it.
yeah, what's happened before is city works will send an invoice, planning and zoning. And we didn't get an invoice until 2 months after the fact, and it was only because they sent us the invoice.
And-
And city works needs to split it out
Yeah,
and send two invoices.
the other way that we could separate that, so let's say you take these fees and figure, okay. X amount of dollars of these fees is gonna be for the software portion, right? So on your plotting review fee, whatever, we could, if we wanted to do it that way, and that's what your share is gonna be. Then we could just separate that out when the fees go in and city works, that whatever that portion is dumps into my budget. To
Yeah.
pay for the software, because that's how it's set up right now anyways, is when they pay for the plating fees. I have the two fees that come into my department, and then everything else that's paid dumps into your. Object codes, right?
Yeah.
So we would just have to figure out if that's what we're gonna do, we could just set it up in there, so that money was approximating into my budget. And then paying for it, but.
Could Austin collect the fee that you would charge? You would put the fee on.
So right now through city works, they can, if the developers are paying through city works, that's what's happening now.
I don't
so
know why we don't. just
We
keep
collect
doing
all the road and bridge fees, and then I just have it split out and what the fees are, that when they run the reports. Up in the clerk's office, it tells the money where to
that.
go.
So it'll all be collected here and it'll all be paid there.
Coming up with the percentage that they can split.
Okay.
Yeah, so just look at your fees and then we can figure out, okay, this is the amount, and then we'll just have that dump into my software budget, and we can pay it out of there.
Okay.
And like I said, I mean, you know, I figured that $80 we're collecting on basically every permit for. Road and bridge inspection goes towards that too, so.
The goal is to get enough in your fees to cover it, so it doesn't come out of the road funds,
Right.
so.